Well, I want to begin today by reading Psalm chapter 84. Psalm 84, beginning in verse 1. How lovely is your dwelling place, Lord of armies. I long to yearn for the courts of the Lord. My heart and flesh cry out for the living God. Even a sparrow finds a home on the swallow, a nest for herself where she places her young. Near your altars, Lord of armies, my King and my God. How happy are those who reside in your house, who praise you continually. Happy are the people whose strength is in you, whose hearts are set on pilgrimage. As they pass through the valley of Baca, they make it a source of spring water. Even the autumn rain will cover it with blessings. They go from strength to strength, each appears before the God in Zion. Lord God of armies, hear my prayer. Listen, God of Jacob, consider our shield, God. Look on your face of your anointed one. Better a day in your courts than 1,000 elsewhere. I'd rather stand at the threshold of the house of my God than live in the tents of wicked people. For the Lord God is a sun and shield. The Lord grants favor and honor. He does not withhold the good from those who live with integrity. Happy is the person who trusts in you, Lord of armies. And so today's psalm we look at is written by the sons of Korah. And these sons of Korah serve as some of the temple musicians. And you can tell by reading this psalm that they love to be in God's presence, that they love to be in the house of God. You got to remember that in this day and time, when this was written, they fully saw God as residing only in the temple that was there. And so they loved it there. You can see from the very beginning, they say, how lovely is your dwelling place. There was no other image in their mind but one that brought them peace and joy. And they longed to be there. Verse 2 said, my heart and my flesh cry out for the living God. They long to be there, but they long to be with God. We see there as well that that a sparrow had built a nest there in the Lord's house. And talking about from the bird to all the people, how great it is to reside there at the house of the Lord. There in verse 5, it said, happy are those that are coming on a pilgrimage to the Lord's house. In verse 6, it says, as you pass through the valley of Baca, they make it a source of spring water, even with autumn rain will cover its blessing, even in the hard times, how great it is to be in the Lord's house. And he goes on to say in verse 10, it said, better a day in your courts than 1,000 elsewhere. He'd rather be in the threshold, in the very doorway of God's house than anywhere else that would be wicked. Better is a day in his house. And it said, finally, happy is the person who trusts in the Lord. See, today it seems like people are looking for any and every excuse to not come to church. And I don't believe that this psalm is just simply about talking about church, but if you want to be in the Lord's presence, if you want to be with the Lord, then surely you want to be in the Lord's church. And it blows my mind how people want to go to heaven when they die, but they won't go to the Lord's house while they're alive. How are you going to enjoy being in heaven if you can't enjoy being in church? I record these videos a couple of weeks in advance, and today is a Saturday, and I'm just thinking about tomorrow that Sunday's coming, and every Sunday it just seems like so many more are not there than should be. And there's a lot of things going on in people's lives, but it just seems like so much that there is hardly any love and desire to be with the Lord and to be in his house. And as I said, how will people like heaven if they don't like spending time with him here on earth? I don't know, maybe just the ramblings of a heartbroken preacher. And you know, there's times when earlier on in my life where it was a struggle to get up and go. But we need to have a desire to be in God's house and the desire to be with God. Hope you join me again next time as we continue to look at God's Word.